Meryl Streep has played plenty of mothers on screen, and she gets to draw from real life for those performances because she's actually a mom of 4 children. She tends to keep pretty quiet about her family and personal life, but she's let a few details slip in interviews over the years. Meryl's now adult kids have also opened up about her as a parent. So, what's life really like when your mother is one of the most famous actresses in the world? Up-and-comers. Meet Meryl Streep's children. They're called Henry, Mamie, Grace, and Louisa. Their dad is sculptor Don Gummer, who has been married to the Oscar-winning actress for over 40 years. All 4 kids have become involved in the arts, too, just like their parents, but as anyone in Hollywood will tell you, that's far from an easy path to follow in life. Growing up Gummer. The Streep kids, well, actually, they're the Gummer kids have grown up in the spotlight, and that naturally comes with its own set of problems. The world now knows plenty about them, from their aspirations to their embarrassing nicknames. But their parents did everything they could to make sure their children at least had a good start in life. Working mom. And it's not easy balancing parenthood with fame. Streep said as much in a 1998 interview with the Washington Post newspaper. When asked which was harder, mothering or acting, she instantly answered mothering. Definitely. Acting, that's praise, money, fulfillment. Mothering, they don't even say, thank you, they don't even clear the table unless you say, excuse me. For real life. Streep went on, real life, there's no comparison to acting. I can't really call acting work, since it's secretly so fun. Even the difficult things, it's satisfying to do the difficult things well. Acting isn't like real life. Life is about not being sure. Is this the right school for this kid? All those uncertainties, and mothers the world over can relate to that. Henry Wolf. But now that the kids are all grown up, they can speak for themselves about those uncertainties, their upbringing, and their relationship with their world-famous mother. Henry is the oldest. A musician, he doesn't use his mother's surname at all or even his less famous father's one. Instead, he uses his middle name, Wolf, as his last. Music lover. Thanks to Streep, we know that Henry was interested in music from a very young age. It's something that forms the basis of one of her regrets as a parent. She told the story in 2016 when speaking to the website mom.com, having been asked the question, as a mother, do you think it's okay to keep encouraging your kids when they are not good at something? Thorny. Streep said, here's where it gets thorny. I had a child who, at 3, would go to the piano, reach up and play. I said, we have to get him music lessons. He loves it, he would go in and do this all the time. So, we got a teacher, and it wasn't a good teacher. From ages 8 to 10. We had 2 different teachers, and neither one of them were good. This led to a problem. Disagreement. Streep and her husband couldn't agree on the right way forward for Henry. She remembered, he wanted to quit, and this is how it shakes down in my house. There's the bad cop, and then there's dad. You're making him live this thing that is your thing and your dream, my husband said. And I said, no. This is him, I know it's him, and he said, no. Let him quit, so I let him quit. Tiger mom. But of course he didn't quit forever. Streep said. Now, cut to age 35 and he is a musician. Self-taught and late in life he came to it. I keep thinking if he had stayed with it. You know, a little bit of tiger mom is a good thing. Sometimes you have to make them do things they don't want to do. It's good for them. Part of the story. But what are Henry's own thoughts? He gave an interview to the newspaper New York Daily News in 2011 while promoting his album, and of Streep he said, the fact that my mom is who she is can be overshadowing. Sometimes I worry that my story isn't good enough. Sure, my mom is part of the story, and I don't get pissed when people ask me about her, but I wish I had something that could eclipse that as far as compelling storylines. Acceptance. He went on, it's not what I would necessarily choose, but it is something I have to accept. Adding, there are a certain amount of assumptions that go along with that, which tend to not be fair, like the recognition somehow helps me. But it also hurts, because people start to think that I don't work hard, and they don't take me seriously. Acting vs. music. Despite that, though, Henry made it clear he didn't resent his mother for any of it. He talked about how he had planned initially to follow in her footsteps and become an actor, but decided to drop out of NYU's Tisch School of the Arts and take up music instead. He said, "For me, music was more stimulating from day to day." Support. And even though he worried sometimes about being eclipsed by his mother's fame, Henry was very grateful for her being in his life. He told the New York Daily News, "I can guarantee with 100% certainty that my mom will be at my concert," and he added that she was completely supportive of his music career. Family man. But what's Henry been up to since 2011? Well, he's a husband and a dad now. In 2019, he married Tamron Storm Hawker, a yoga teacher and acupuncturist, and he had 2 children with her. These are Ida, who came along in 2020, and Quinn, who was born 2 years after his sister. Henry posts about them often on his Instagram account. Mamie Gummer. The second oldest Streep Gummer child is Mamie, and she's probably the most famous of the 4. She also looks exactly like her mother. Mamie has been acting since a very young age. She appeared in one of her mom's movies, Heartburn, when she was just a toddler. And if you ever spotted the name Natalie Stern in credits, that's actually Mamie, on-screen daughter. And Mamie continued to act long past childhood. Her mother being so famous did definitely help her career, though one of her first major roles was in the movie Evening, where she played the younger version of her mom's character. And then came 2015's Ricky and The Flash, where she was Streep's on-screen daughter as well. Normal life. The release of Ricky and The Flash gave Mamie a chance to spill all to the media about what Streep was like as a mother. And she painted a picture of a refreshingly normal childhood, telling British newspaper The Daily Mail her priority was being our mother, not being a celebrity, and it certainly wasn't like we had Warren Beatty to the house every Thursday. In the industry. Though, Mamie went on, "I think one of the smartest things my parents did for us was to move to the country when we were small, so we weren't completely consumed by New York or Los Angeles. We did live in LA for a while, but my parents didn't like it. The film industry's influence can be overpowering, and Mom wanted us to know that being famous isn't the most important thing in life." No television. Mamie also shared some secrets about her childhood, saying, "Both my parents were quite strict. We weren't allowed to watch television till our homework was done, and we weren't even allowed to watch Beverly Hills 90210 or MTV at all. We had dinner together every night. A proper sit-down with all the questions like, 'How was school? What's going on with you?' Spitting furious." It was actually only Streep who had qualms about how her work had affected the kids. She told the newspaper that when she had been making the film Dancing at La NASA in 1998, 2 weeks turned to 3, and then when we were heading into the 4th week, Don had to bring all the kids over to Ireland so I could see them. I was spitting furious. Oscar-winning mom. But Mamie had always been fascinated by her mother's job, although there were some issues along the way. She saw Streep's Oscar-winning performance in Sophie's Choice when she was just 12, and it shook her. "I burst out of the theater halfway through in tears," she told the Daily Mail. "It actually turned me off the idea of acting for a bit, but I also remember how devastatingly good my mom was in it." Mamie and Benjamin Walker. What about Mamie's personal life? Well, she was actually going through a divorce while making Ricky and The Flash. She had been married to actor Benjamin Walker since 2011, having tied the knot at her parents' house, in fact, but they separated in 2013. Although the divorce was amicable, it was still difficult, and Mamie needed her family to rally around her. New relationship. New relationship. Mamie told the Daily Mail regarding the divorce, "It was painful, but I think I've grown up as a result. I was naive and self-righteous before, but pain's a great equalizer, and I'm a lot less judgmental of other people now. My family were amazing when it happened." And her romantic life bounced back quickly. She got engaged to TV writer Mahar Sethi in 2018 and announced a pregnancy that same year. First grandchild. Streep was thrilled to get the news about Mamie's pregnancy, and she told Interview magazine the following year, "I've been working like mad for quite a while, so I'm getting ready for my first grandchild. My daughter's having a baby in February, so I'm going to go out and ruin her life. I specialize in unsolicited advice." The child, a son, was born in February 2019. Grace Gummer. Mamie was the first of Streep's children to give birth, but of course she wasn't the last. There are Henry's two kids, of course, and then there's another Streep grandchild via Grace Gummer. Grace is another actress, and she's been making a lot of waves thanks to both her career and her being one half of an entertainment power couple, Grace and Mark Ronson. Grace was once married to the son of David Strathairn, Tay, but they separated after a mere 42 days. Not long after the divorce was finalized, Grace married a big name in the music world performer and producer Mark Ronson. They were wed in September 2021, with Grace giving birth to a daughter on March 14, 2023. Successful career. You might have seen Grace in, to give just a few examples, the CBS show Extant, the last 3 seasons of the hit drama Mr. Robot, or the Daniel Radcliffe movie Beast of Burden. Her career has gone from strength to strength over the past decade, but she's another one who's expressed concern about the long shadow cast by her mother. Fame. Grace chatted to the website Collider in October 2022, and naturally the subject of Streep's fame came up. She mused, "I think I am in a pretty unique, different situation because of who my mom is. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do it, but once I started doing it, I couldn't deny it, and I loved it so much so, there was sort of nothing that was going to stop me." Forging her own path. She went on, "It was really important for me to forge my own path for myself and to make it mine and to not be in reference to her constantly or in her shadow. It was essential for me to make my own name." Bearing that in mind, her first role as a young actor was quite an unexpected one. Gigantic. Grace told Collider, "Ironically, the first job I got that sort of thrust me into Hollywood was this little teen show called Gigantic, where I played the daughter of a very famous person. But it was so not my life. It was so different from how I grew up. So I was able to remove myself from it and try to really play a character." Learning fast. Then she went on, "And it was a really good first job for me. I moved to LA. I got a car, I drove to work. I was on set every day on time. It was like boot camp. I was number 1 on the call sheet, so I had to really learn a lot really fast or really young. It's not the job that I think that I would have seen myself doing necessarily, but I learned a lot technically about how to be a working actor." Great ideas. Grace was asked in the interview what advice her mother had given her, and she answered, "She does have really great ideas and really great notes for me sometimes, and I definitely listen to her. But I think what I've learned the most from both of my parents is just loving what you do is the sole driver and the engine behind your life. And also, it's not your entire life. There are so many other things that define you as a person and as a woman." Louisa Jacobson. And now we've reached the baby of the Streep Gummer family, actress Louisa Jacobson. Like her brother Henry, she doesn't use either of her parents' last names professionally, although that's more due to circumstance than anything else. When Louisa started out her career, another actress had the name of Louisa Gummer, so Louisa switched to her middle name of Jacobson. The Gilded Age. Louisa started off as a model. Her sister Mamie described her as the hottie of the family in her 2015 Daily Mail interview, but then she became an actress, and she's been very successful so far. She's done a lot of theater work, and currently she plays the character Marion Brooke on hit HBO show The Gilded Age. Focusing. But just like her siblings, Louisa worried about accusations of nepotism when she embarked on her career. In 2022, she told Tatler magazine, "It's going to be a constant thing throughout my life. It has been since I can remember this issue of, do I deserve what I have, but I think about Jane Fonda and how she made a name for herself. And there's been plenty of other people who've been able to carve their own path, but like Sofia Coppola. I think it just takes time and not reading Twitter and just focusing on what I want to achieve as an artist." Deep relationship. In that same interview, Louisa discussed her boyfriend, an actor named Jonathan Higginbotham. She had met him while both of them were studying at the Yale School of Drama. Asked by the magazine what it was like dating someone with the same career, Louise said, "We share this strange career together and can complain about the same things. He knows so deeply what it is that I do." Nicknames. But even though she would rather set herself apart from her mother career-wise, Louisa still gets asked about her a lot. In March, she appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and Kimmel asked her, "When your mom's Meryl Streep, does she annoy you in the way other people's moms annoy them?" Turned out she did, by way of an embarrassing nickname, Pickle. Louisa revealed that Streep had always called her Pickle and told the world. Even today, she was like, "All right, Pickle, is the car coming for you?" She's like, "Do you have everything you need? Is someone coming to pick you up from the theater, AW?" But even though her mom was fussy, she was also really sweet. Mom's footsteps. Louisa did continue to lovingly roast her mom, though, telling Kimmel, "This is a really embarrassing thing that she does. If she starts to speak to someone who has an accent, she'll just start doing the accent." Kimmel joked, "And she'll get an Oscar for it, usually right correct." But you never know. One of Streep's children might also win an Oscar one day.